Hello, and welcome to Northbeat from Wekwati, Northwest Territories. The Canadian Rangers are a pillar in the north, and today we joined them as they went out on Snare Lake to learn about navigational skills. But like many things in the north, not everything went to plan. That story is later on Northbeat, but first, the news. Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts in Wekwati, Northwest Territories. 13 teachers in Nunavut, Northwest Territories will lose their jobs at the end of the school year. The president of the NWT Teachers Association says 6 of the educators work at East 3 Elementary School. The other 7 teach at East 3 Secondary School. She believes the cuts are related to changes in how Jordan's principal money is managed by the federal government.
I'm hoping that the community at large, that parents start voicing their concerns, because this ultimately will affect students and the kinds of supports and resources and opportunities that they have.
Mueller says all of the teachers had meetings with the government where they were informed of the layoffs. The Beaufort Delta Education Council has not responded to CBC's request for an interview or commented on the reasons for the teacher cuts. The Premier of Nunavut says Inuit need to be more involved in the mining industry. John Main says this is especially important ahead of devolution, which is set to take effect in the territory next year. Main spoke at the Nunavut Mining Symposium in Kivalliq on Tuesday. The CBC's Mahnur Mubarak reports.
It's the second day of the Nunavut Mining Symposium, and Premier John Main took the opportunity to speak about the importance of the industry in Nunavut and its link to devolution. He says GN must work closely with Inuit organizations, regulators, and the mining industry to maintain confidence in how decisions will be made in Nunavut and ensure a seamless transition of federal powers to the GN. To that end, the government of Nunavut will be creating a new department that will take on responsibilities for land and resources. Main emphasized that it's important mining creates long-term benefits for communities. Adding Inuit employment in the industry must be a priority. He says there are thousands of jobs in mining, and while Inuit are taking some of those positions, it's not enough. The mining symposium will continue until tomorrow. Mahnur Mubarak, CBC News, Iqaluit.
The Premier of the Northwest Territories says provinces and territories need to limit barriers for locum workers. It was part of a panel discussion at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce's Future of Business Summit in Ottawa this week. RJ Simpson was alongside premiers from Ontario, New Brunswick, and PEI. Simpson says Canada needs to have a self-sustainable economy, especially during trade wars with the U.S. He says interprovincial trading among products and skilled labor is part of the answer.
Especially for us in the territory where we rely so much on southern workers. And so in terms of healthcare and any type of skilled labor, that's an area where it really slows everything down when you're waiting weeks or months to get authorization to bring someone in to do work that needs to be done today.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt says her government has already made it easier in her province. She says they've passed a Labor Mobility Act. It allows any workers with a Canadian credential, like a Red Seal, to work in New Brunswick whether they live there or not. Former Nunavut Premier PJ Kivalliq has been appointed to Canada's new advisory committee on Canada-U.S. economic relations. Prime Minister Mark Carney made the announcement today. Kivalliq joins 23 other members from major sectors of the Canadian economy, all tasked with advising the Prime Minister as the Canada-U.S. trade war lingers on. That new advisory council replaces the one previously set up by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in early 2025. The CBC's Ashley Burke has more details on who the Prime Minister is bringing to the table and why they're being assembled now.
The Prime Minister revamping a committee, advising him on how best to deal with Donald Trump, his tariffs, and threats.
It's a diverse group, leaders from the union movement, experts in industry, and CEOs in finance and across the economy.
Mark Carney dropping a series of Trudeau-era members and replacing them with his own picks. as Canada prepares to review North America's Free Trade Pact.
I think it'll help our negotiations and it'll help the Government of Canada be informed.
Carney bringing on the president of Dofasco, a steel company hit with American tariffs, the head of TC Energy, and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce.
What business needs is some short-term certainty alongside some long-term clarity on the relationship.
The Prime Minister also reaching across party lines, appointing the Conservatives' former leader Aaron O'Toole and Deputy Leader Lisa Raitt.
I'm always the one that wants to keep working through issues and continue to talk, but Mr. Trump is the one that has to agree to be at the table as well. I can't do anything to control what he does or doesn't do, but I can prepare our Prime Minister with the best information I can give.
After that news broke, Poilievre unexpectedly appeared outside a Liberal cabinet meeting to talk to journalists.
What do you think of Aaron O'Toole being on this council?
It's great. At the end of the day, though, what we need is action.
The Conservative leader accusing Carney of doing nothing but stoking fear about Trump rather than making him drop his tariffs.
He hasn't held negotiations in 5 months. The Mexicans are going to be at the table formally with the Americans any day.
Mexico expects formal trade talks to start with the U.S. next month, but Canada doesn't have a date.
We want things to progress. Obviously, it's an important relationship for both the United States of America and Canada.
The government is under pressure to show signs it's making progress after the U.S. Commerce Secretary last week said that Canada's plan to try and wait out the U.S. to reach a better deal is the worst strategy he's ever heard of, adding they suck. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Yukon MLAs are questioning top energy bureaucrats this week. Representatives from the Yukon Development and Energy Corporations were summoned to the Legislative Assembly on Monday. TJ Deere reports.
The Yukon Energy Corporation says it will be providing rebates for workplaces to switch from electric to diesel-based power. Yukon NDP critic Lane Treasure expressed concern over this, given the government recently announced rebates for homeowners to do the same. Treasure felt the priority has shifted from not reducing energy usage to switching energy from electric to diesel. MLAs also asked for updates on the Yukon BC Grid Connect project. The president and CEO of the Yukon Development Corporation said there's no proponent for the project yet, but that they envision a Yukon First Nation taking ownership over the project. MLAs also had a lot of questions about Mayo's Wareham Dam. Treasure acknowledged the cost of repairing the spillway is high at $180 million. When they asked if decommissioning the dam and using the money to start a new project was an option, YEC President and CEO Joe McGilvery said the board did consider it. McGilvery also said that electricity rates will increase by 5.1% as of next year. TJ Deere, CBC News, Whitehorse.
The NWT has pets to be legally recognized as sentient beings. Right now, they're considered property under the law. The animal shelter says tourists and residents have raised concerns for years about the care and conditions of animals across the territory. It says current legislation limits how and when authorities can intervene. But the GNWT says it has no plans to amend its legislation on domestic animals. The NWT Department of Municipal and Community Affairs administers the Dog Act. It says that act provides a foundation for how municipalities handle dogs.
As a territorial government, we have to have a baseline that protects communities where they don't have the capacity to build a bylaw. There needs to be something there to support animals and the wellness of them. But ideally, if communities want more, they can do that with their bylaws.
McKay says it's been more than a decade since the Dog Act has been updated. He says there might be an opportunity to review it in the future, but that takes time. The federal government has renewed funding for a program to help revitalize declining salmon stocks. The Pacific Salmon Strategy Initiative was first launched in 2021 with a 5-year mandate, which then expired in March. Ottawa has now pledged over $410 million to keep the program running for another 5 years. The money supports efforts to rebuild salmon populations in Canada, including the Yukon River chum and Chinook. One Yukon organization says the renewal comes at a critical time.
We know the Yukon River Chinook and Yukon River Chum are in big trouble. I mean, we've seen, the historical declines are there. We're down 80%. We're getting to a point where we start worrying about what we call extirpation of smaller stocks in some of the areas of the Yukon. So we want the focus. We think the Yukon River Chinook are significant, just due to their migration, international treaty. So we want to ensure, it's not a question of we don't want others to get the funding, but we certainly want to ensure that Yukon is well positioned to be able to leverage a lot of the good work we're doing right now.
The government hasn't specified how much of the funding will go to help the Yukon populations. A spokesperson with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans says those details should be released in the coming weeks. Some Nunavut leaders want to see the territory follow the NWT and scrap seasonal time changes. The Northwest Territories announced Monday it would adopt a year-round time standard. It follows a move by Alberta, which is on mountain time, the same as the NWT. Nunavut's Kivalliq region is also on mountain time, and the MLA for Cambridge Bay says it might be beneficial for Nunavut to make the switch.
If all of Nunavut is not going to be doing it, then maybe it's something this region could contemplate. Because like you say, Yellowknife, Alberta, other places in the NWT in Alberta, we do a lot of business with them. So being on the same time as them is quite important, I think.
CBC News has reached out to the Nunavut Department of Justice and the Premier's office for comment, but has yet to hear back. Some Nunavut communities have already taken it upon themselves to end time changes. Coral Harbour in the Kivalliq region has not changed its clocks for the past few years. Instructors with the Canadian Rangers are in Wekwati this week to train with local rangers. They're learning skills like first aid and search and rescue. We got the chance to accompany them on a training exercise about navigation, but what we got was an impromptu lesson on snowmobile mechanics.
So my name's Sergeant Chris Elliott. I'm a ranger instructor with the 1st Canadian Ranger Patrol Group.
I'm also Sergeant Dave Simonton. I'm also with 1CRPG. Today we're focusing on navigation training, first aid training. All this week, that's what we're doing, leading up to a search and rescue exercise where they'll be tested on their navigation, first aid, and bush skills.
Yeah, tell me how important it is to help teach these skills for the local rangers that are in the communities regularly and are probably going to be called upon to do these kinds of searches. So tell me a little bit about how important that is.
I think it's extremely important. As you guys know, the Rangers are the eyes and the ears of the North, and we get called upon to do any number of emergencies. So today we're just doing the training for search and rescue.
And what's something you're going to be teaching them today? Something, I guess, specific in terms of search and rescue and navigation?
Yeah. So these guys already have the local skills from, living out on the land for a long time, hunting, moving on snowmobiles. We don't need to teach them any of those skill sets, but our job as Rangers instructors is essentially to figure out a way to join up their basic skills with the skills that the military requires. So today, what we're basically going through, we've been teaching map and compass, how to identify one's location on the ground using a military grid reference system, and then how to shoot bearings to each individual point on the map. So we're essentially doing an orienteering course. And then the end state of that will be to basically be able to conduct ground search and rescue tasks within the local community.
Tell me, I know you both have traveled to many different communities as part of your jobs. Tell me what you've learned, and I'll ask you both this question, what you've learned in some of your travels across the North, what you've taken away from the people that you're here to teach as well. Start.
So, I'm still quite a new RI, so it just goes to show how much you travel within this job. But I've seen a range of skills from Dene members, from Inuit members, and other members that have been on the long range patrol from the Yukon. And there's just a wide range of local knowledge, especially when it comes to snowmobiling, hunting, Arctic survival. The capability is very broad, and each patrol is different.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is every patrol is very diverse in their set of skills, and like I go into some communities and there's experts. Like I go to teach first aid, they're medics, so they actually can teach me quite a bit too, as well.
So is there anything you want to add in terms of what it means to be able to do this kind of work with communities?
Oh, it means, I think it means a lot to me. You get to see the communities, the faces of the people. You can really tell when you make a difference. When you're coming back from the patrol and the community puts on a feast, when you come back, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the most important part of this job for me is just being able to see, the military skills in action within the local community, and seeing basically the Indigenous knowledge combined with the military skill set to create this really unique capability which is basically unique to Canada's North. Yeah. So it's a super important capability for the government of Canada, and it's a way for us to basically look after our sovereignty and safety in the North.
Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's like how to survive on the land, how to make fires, like smoke signals, how to make shelters, like search and rescue on the ice, or anybody gets injured, do your first aid training. There's like a whole bunch of stuff I learned from these guys, from this Rangers military. I really enjoy it. It's pretty interesting. We teach them about the land, how to travel without, like compass, maps. You just got to look at the land and the lakes, the trees, the rocks. They all look alike, but that's how we teach them our own traditional ways. Yeah.
Just to make sure they don't get lost, so they know the way back. Yeah.
Thankfully, they did that machine up and running again, and we got home safely. So thank you so much for taking us out on the snowmobiles today. We also heard Elder and former Chief Charlie Football's story on Monday. Now, he told us about his family connections to Wekwati and how he planned to be here for a month and stayed for a lifetime. Today, he shares more of his story and the story of the land in Quechua. Football talks about how beautiful the land is here and the grave sites of some of his family members. Take a listen.
So more honey, so honey has what's on doom has no Kikuala, so Kuga Ridahan, say Ayalia, a chin gate canyas, Kikuya, Holland to get Hanata. A year hunt, don't want to get in there. I could go Latin in the white, what I trash out could eat in there. What I packed a year do what's on doom, walk what can I have dinner. Would you in it? Dear Layet, as on Chiela. Sat Hassan, a young good day. Sazat, as on Chige, Chigon, but so comes at planning the Chigon Asi, a lot can get. What had da? Quabre Dano Ashi, Canada. She catching at that catching. A chill Tonsiwoga, Shizilan, so Chianing, which a Kiwok what can had. Thought I had. A said, we like a half, so cushion the colors won't go there. You saw that Hoji couldn't say any day. Two had there, see how fond. A Satra shot a young good dinner, another. The Hunch had not how would give credit, any day. A so Shannon woods a kill, what condition, what had you want? How can she down? Okay, they one out did a wahayoti. How going to don't go ya, what I get says like a good deal. How going to don't go lots of deal, honey. Take a lot of those and go lots of what at honey. Who goes here on a honeycomb? What big area? A year she worked as an article of Queen, Calata Dicky, I can't go full another. The home Aji hasn't Haginin carrying there. You don't want to consume one like I wasn't cat. I got Zars on it, had this in the Sata. Hanako, they had the in beginning the what yes, I did a car. I could say I did in the scene. don't trade your kind of when it's a cool, some cow more consideration. What hard the home song? A con had near la da the home, feed down.
Indigenous leaders from Canada and beyond are gathering in New Zealand to explore ways to advance equity in cancer care. 600 researchers, clinicians, and advocates are participating in this year's World Indigenous Cancer Conference. The conference started today. Members of the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer, or CPAC, will be there. It's a publicly funded organization tasked with managing the national cancer strategy. CPAC's Inuit Community Health Advisor says she wants to bring an Inuit voice to the table.
There are quite a few barriers with access to care and quality care, as well as screening. Screening is very important to catch screening early, so it would be really good to have screening at point of care, especially in the north, where there's limited resources.
One of the organizers of the conference says Indigenous people worldwide are disproportionately affected by cancer. That can be from exposure to environmental carcinogens and marginalization in healthcare.
The evidence shows that small inequities along the whole pathway contribute to significantly worse outcomes. And so it needs quite a major transformational change, I think, across the entire system.
At the end of the conference, participants will write a call to action plan. In Nunavut, the Kivalliq Chamber of Commerce wants more youth to get involved in business. It's trying to start a youth chapter of the Chamber of Commerce. The president says it's because many young people in the region run small businesses out of their homes. That includes seamstresses, carvers, and other visual artists. She says it would be an opportunity for youth to connect with mentors and stimulate economic growth in Kivalliq communities.
But our overall goal is to start a movement. Let's have some youth involved in the chamber. Let's work with them on the idea of a business plan. And certainly youth are the first ones to say, this is what's missing from my community. So one of our goals is we reached out earlier this week to all of our business members, and we asked if any of them would have an interest in mentoring anybody on our youth chambers.
Tutu Fotheringham says young people that are passionate about business and networking should reach out to the Kivalliq Chamber of Commerce office. A March heat wave in parts of Western Canada has triggered a massive snow drought there. The warm temperatures effectively erased a month of winter when snowpacks are made. Joanna Wagstaff explains the implications it'll have on the water supply this summer.
From the U.S. Southwest to southwestern British Columbia, an exceptional snow drought is threatening summer drinking water and increasing wildfire risk. Here's how we got here. A record-shattering March heat wave followed an already warm winter, acting as a giant snow eater. A spring heat dome pushed almost the entire Southwest to their warmest March since records began in 1895. On March 20th alone, 4 stations in California and Arizona hit a staggering 44 degrees Celsius, July-level heat. So normally mountain snow continues to accumulate through April, but this year the melt timeline was pushed ahead by an entire month. By April 1st, when snowpack should be hitting its annual peak, the western U.S. saw its lowest levels on record. California river basins experienced their driest March on record. In Utah, 70% of stations have melted out 30 to 50 days earlier than normal. And in BC, the South Okanagan has reached its lowest water level in nearly 40 years. Here's why all of this is so concerning for the summer. The mountains act as natural water towers for many parts of the West, storing the water up as snow during the winter and then slowly releasing it as it melts through spring and summer, recharging reservoirs and ecosystems. So many individual watersheds will now have to stretch a tiny supply across a long, hot summer. And that's not the only concern. A drier west now means a much higher risk for an aggressive and extended wildfire season, something we've already seen sparking up in BC in recent weeks. While the season is already one for the record books, it's part of a much larger trend we've been tracking for decades.
This isn't just a one-year or a this-year problem. Driven by climate change, snowpack water storage has already declined 15 to 30% since the 1950s and could fall another 25% by mid-century.
A fresh analysis from Climate Central found this specific March heat wave was made at least 5 times more likely because of human-caused climate change.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts in Wekwati, NWT. We leave you tonight with some scenic shots near Haines Junction, Yukon. Have a good night.